Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to let everybody join, but welcome to everybody on the playback. I have two of my friends here, Cass and Kat. I'm very excited to have both of them on as my co-hosts this month. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, even though I know nobody on BookTube ever likes introducing themselves, like ever.
It's just weird to talk about myself. I don't know.
Very weird. It's very much like when you were in college and you met anyone and everyone was like, "What's your major? What's your major?" And you just get so sick of doing it. But for everybody who's here, in case they don't know who you are, I have their links in the description. Make sure you subscribe to them. Cass, do you want to start first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Cassidy. I'm actually a fantasy booktuber, but I do read horror as well, which is why I'm here. But mainly on my channel, you will find fantasy with a little bit of horror. And I love slashers, so this was a great pick for me. That's about all I have to say.
And you love YA, right?
I like YA slashers for some reason. YA horror really works for me. YA fantasy, though, I'm out. But
okay. Yeah. That's so interesting to know.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hi, I'm Kat. My channel is Kat Chats. I read a little bit of everything, but mostly thriller, horror, and romance.
Nice. I am not, I pretty much just read horror and thriller. I'm not that exciting. I love when people read like way more genres than me. I need to expand. I need to start reading some fantasy. Definitely not high fantasy. Like
that's a scary place to be.
Yeah.
It is a very scary place to be. So we're just going to start with like easier fantasy. I'll have to get some recs for that. Hello, welcome. Hi. If people in the comments want to let us know if you read the book and also if you listened or read it physically, how did you all read it?
I read it on an ebook.
On ebook. Okay. So no audiobook.
No.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I did it physically. I went to get the audiobook and I didn't like the narrator. And so I was like, well, I own it. It's right here. So I just read it physically.
Yeah, I listened to it only, and a miracle happened because I had it on Libby and it said for literally like days that I was first in line and I kept not getting it. And I was like about to get the Audible copy, like literally about to. And then I got a notification. So I manifested it. So very happy with that. Yeah, I know. I was so relieved. I was like, I don't want to spend an Audible credit because it's a short book, you know?
Yeah.
Hi, Monica. Hello. Hi, Mel. Hello. Thank you all for being here. I didn't read the book because Cass told me not.
Mel does not like slashers and like
this is
people being extreme.
Yeah. This is probably not a book for you, but you can stay for the non-spoiler. Honestly, you can stay the whole time if you want to just hear us talk about it. I listened to the audio. What did you think of the audio, by the way? I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but also I didn't like hate it. It didn't stop me from reading it. What bothered you? Was it just like the voice? Or
I just like listened to the sample and I was like, this is gonna go too teeny, I think. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna read it physically. And I could have done it, but I would have been using an Audible credit because I was like 16-week wait on Libby.
No, yeah.
So I was like, not worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get what you mean. Sometimes when you listen to audiobooks, it makes it feel more teen than like just your own voice. I read it in a combo of physical and audio, more physical than audio. Gotcha. I read the book through ebook. Nice. But I'm here for the vibes. Yay. Because I want to know things. I'm sure you will find out a lot of stuff. I read the ebook. I read one chapter and DNF'd. It's okay, Sherry. I understand. I listened to the audio. Nice. It was okay. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I didn't like hate my life with it, but I wasn't obsessed with the audio. I'm going to throw this up too so people know that we're not talking spoilers yet. I'm scared to tell you my rating. It's okay. I read the title only. I love that comment. Okay, so we can do this a couple ways. Do we want to share our ratings first or do we want to wait?
Let's do our ratings.
Let's do our ratings. I'm really scared. Do you guys want to start?
Yeah, everyone I feel like already knows my ratings. It was in a blog. I actually ended up really liking this. I gave it 4 stars. However, on enjoyment only.
Yeah.
Like it was a good vibe book, not a good technical book, if that makes sense. But I just had a
Yeah.
lot of fun, so I ended up giving it 4 stars.
I'm really glad you had a lot of fun.
Which is so weird for me, I'm not gonna lie. Normally, I'm the one coming to a live show and being like, 1 star, I hated this book. So thank you for picking a book that I liked for once.
I
Like,
know.
no one
I'm
else probably
actually
liked, but
I'm very happy about that.
like I'm
Well-
literally known for hating book club books.
Me too, and I'll take that role on.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna settle at like a 2. I could be talked down. I don't think I could be talked up.
Yeah.
It just, I think it's like mostly me. I really love slasher movies, and because of that, I like tend to read a lot of slasher books. They so rarely work out for me. So I
Mhm.
think I just need to give up on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I agree. I like slashers as movies overall. Like quantity wise, there's more slashers I like watching than
Yeah.
reading. I probably gonna give this a 2. Yeah.
I see. I get it.
I'm so mad though because it's like I should share the synopsis. I realize I haven't done that yet. It has like most things that I could really be obsessed with. Also, yeah, please in the comments let us know what you rated it. So this one is basically about this character named Noelle, and she owns, I guess she runs this like watch party for horror movies online, and she wants to expand and do a podcast. And so she decides, hey, it'll be really smart for networking if I throw this party and invite like all the influencer popular kids at school and like get my name more out there. And so she lives in this like really rich estate because her family's very wealthy. And she throws this party and they all show up, and she's like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if I freaking ordered a clown? Like, girl, what? Like a low budget clown who like dresses up like it and basically plays a game of it. I think it was like supposed to be tag or something like that. And also the main character, like I said, like she's obsessed with horror movies, so she knows all the tropes. So I knew going in it would be really meta. So yeah, I think that's all you really need to know. I did better than Patty. At least I knew it was a slasher. I listened to the audiobook. Nice. I gave it 3 stars overall because I had the NetGalley arc, so I wanted to be more critical. That makes sense. Kate is my person. I agree completely. I gave it 2 stars. Yeah. But if I went on vibes alone like Cass, I would have been persuaded to go a little up. Yeah.
Thanks,
I
Monica.
the vibes, like I liked that it was an estate that's hard to say, at an estate, and that there was a ton of like Halloween decorations. I thought that was really fun, and that was set on Halloween, and all of that. But I think just other things brought down my rating too much. No longer feeling bad about not reading it now. I gave it 1 star. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I'm so glad you liked it, Cass, though, because
Yeah.
it would be
Thank you
horrible
so
if, like,
much.
if
This
no.
is never me. So like I am feeling great about myself.
I'm so glad.
Like
Give it
never
3
me.
and a half.
But I agree with everything. Like I literally agree with everything. Like
I
I
get
have
that.
so many problems with the book. I just had fun, and that's what I'm looking for when I pick up a slasher.
Yeah, I get it. Like I rate on enjoyment level, and I think just too many things in this happened to take me away, and we can get into it, especially when we talk spoilers.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3 and a 3.5 for enjoyment, not for it being good. Yeah. Also, this is a debut, I believe. So
I think so.
that kind of, it sort of felt that way. I'm giving it 2.5, but I think it's more of a 2. I like the movie references, but hated the rich and influencer elements because it made it hard to relate. Yeah. So what do you all think about like influencers being characters in books? Is that like a no?
I just wish it wasn't everyone. Like, I think it would be fun if they had like one person who was really, even like a really amped up version of an influencer, like a caricature almost.
Yeah.
I think that would have been fun, but just them all just being like rich and famous, it was just like too much for me.
I think
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I think it really worked for me because I read Tastes Like Candy, and there's one influencer in that, and I got so annoyed at her the entire time. But in this one, I just like felt like they were all annoying, so like that was the point and like the vibe, and I was just like, oh, I'll just hate them all and want them all to die, and I get to watch them all die, which is like so much fun.
I can see that.
I get that completely. I think for me, for some reason, it would have translated a little better on film. Like stuff like this just works for me more when everybody's unlikable to see on film. Because at least there's like other stuff that I'm seeing that's satisfying to see, if that makes sense. Like the visuals, the atmosphere, I see a little bit more. This is not a spoiler, but in this book, I was getting lost visualizing inside the mansion. I was like, where are we right now? Because there was
a map.
They need a map. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of inconsistencies. And so that took me out of the story because I kept being like, what's going on? Like,
Yes. There was this one scene where I think it's the clown, like bungee jumps from the staircase. I was like, I kept rereading it. I was like, what? How is this possible? Like, where are we?
yeah. And I know that they're like really rich and their house is probably like really like 1%ers, right? It's like not like what we're used to seeing, but still it was really hard to imagine. So that kind of took me out of it a little bit. At least if I would have seen it on screen, it would have like forced it to make sense. At least I would hope a little bit more. Who orders a creepy clown on purpose? Like, man, you're supposed to be smarter than this. Yeah. Would you all ever order a creepy clown?
How fun to order a creepy clown to play tag. Like, I'd be scared shitless and it would be amazing.
I feel like it's the equivalent of going to like a very, very extreme like haunted house, but asking them to come to your own house.
Yeah.
It's like next level, I feel like.
That feels better though, because like I know all the spaces in my own house. So like it's my own territory. I feel like I have the upper hand.
True. I feel like I would like be way too scared in my own house. Like to me, it would scare me more. But I get what you're saying. What about you, Kat? Would you ever just like order a clown?
I don't think so, but I think like same as you, I think of it kind of the equivalent as going to a haunted house, but I don't think I would do that either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Go to like an extreme one.
No.
I read too much about like extreme ones going wrong. I'm just too much. I'm down the McCamey Manor rabbit hole. That's a whole other thing. There's a lot of stuff coming out about that. I've been following it for years. Literally every October, I research this haunted house. If you guys are wondering, it's like this haunted house run by this guy. He used to run a haunt in his backyard, and now he's like moved and scamming people. It's a lot. Look into it if you're interested. The capitalist commentary fell apart at the end. Yes, this is what we have to talk about, I feel like. I gave it 3 stars also for the vibes. I just think Tastes Like Candy is way better slasher in terms of vibes, creative kills, and a character development and setting. Yeah.
I completely disagree, but
that's so Isn't it interesting how like people can just have such a different opinion? That's what I love about books, hearing everybody's take. What did you all like about the writing style? Or, I mean, I know we gave it 2 stars, Kat, but like, was there anything you liked about the writing style, or was it all just like, didn't like anything?
I think so. Like, there's nothing that really comes to mind. Like, I'm not a fan of YA. It's like very tough for me to like a YA thriller. So I think it was almost like set up to fail. So like my apologies to the book. But I think the one thing that like really didn't land for me a lot of times was the humor.
Yes.
I kept thinking about Scream because that's like one of my favorite slasher movies. So I kept like thinking like there is humor in that movie, and like the killer is funny sometimes. So I was trying to like picture it in that setting, but it just never worked for me. I don't know.
It's so funny you say that, because in my video I literally talk about how this reminds me of Scream so much, and the humor. Like I thought Gabe the Clown was just as funny as Ghostface.
Yeah. I mean, like I can see that. It just like I knew he was trying to be funny and like moments were meant to be funny, but I think where this book lost me, where I was like, no, was when he took a shit in the Birkin bag.
Yes. Oh my God.
I thought that was so funny. So like I was sitting there like, oh my God, could you imagine watching this? Like this, I would be cracking up. Like I don't know how they stayed silent. I would be giggling. I'd be so scared, but I would be like, what the fuck is going on? Like what am I living right now?
Like it just made me check out.
I know what you
That's
mean.
fair.
I kind of was checking, like, I was like, oh my God, that just happened. But it like wasn't necessarily a good thing. It was just kind of like, oh wow, that feels very like that's a
Yeah.
choice.
Yes.
So when I read
the
this,
choice.
for the first like 50 pages, I was telling everyone, like, I think I was on sprints and I was like, I'm gonna DNF this. I'm gonna DNF
Yeah.
this. I thought it was really
Oh,
stupid. There
wow.
was a lot of inconsistencies. There's a thing about hypothermia happening when you should not be getting hypothermia.
Mhm.
And I was like, that was dumb, like all this. And then I think that scene happened for me. And I was like, okay, this is just over the top and fun. And like, that's the vibe. And so I think I
Mhm.
stopped looking at it critically at that point and just had fun because like, there are so many inconsistencies, like so
Yeah.
many throughout this book. So if I'm critically thinking
Mhm.
about it, yeah, it's like a 2-star, maybe a 1. But for me, like it was just like an over the top ride that I went on, which is how I
Mhm.
feel about movies like Scream and
Mhm.
stuff, or You're Next, things like that are just like
Mhm.
really, really serial killer slasher.
Yeah.
And I just like, I don't go into this for character development, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because even though Scream to me is funny, it's still like in a way rooted enough in reality where it almost I don't know, like it keeps me invested and I think that's where this like differed in my like feelings toward it than Scream because it felt this one just like felt all funny. Except there was one scene that we can talk about later that I was like, oh, there
The
was kind of like
influencers
a creative kill. Yeah.
The influences make it hard to, like, relate to if you're
Yeah.
not ever doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that was what took me out of it, like, there wasn't a single character I cared about, and, like, in Scream, I freaking love the characters, like,
Yeah.
obviously not all of them, but, Sydney's like, love
where
Sydney.
I'm the opposite, like, I don't care about any characters even in Scream, like, I'm in it for Ghostface.
Yeah, which makes sense why you, like, really like this one just on an enjoyment level.
Yeah.
Um, slashers equals fun, yes. Kelsey rating it a 2 means she really, really didn't like it. I'm actually kind of surprised that Kelsey really, really didn't like it. I don't know. That sort of surprises me. Um, I've never seen an influencer character in a book, and I felt like it improved it. Yeah. This definitely felt like it could have been a movie instead of a book. I needed a map. Yes, I agree. Definitely didn't get the setting. Definitely needed better descriptions or the map. That latest Chainsaw Massacre movie where he saws through influencers. So yeah, that it is kind of those vibes. Sherry, I did honestly kind of hate it. That's okay. You literally don't have to say sorry. It does sound like something a stupid rich person would do, but not this clown. He knew the layout better. Yeah, the clown knew the layout very well. Mail order clown when cast visits. Can you imagine? Oh my God.
I'd be so scared. I'm terrified of clowns.
I am too. I'm
It just
very
sounds fun still. I like to be scared.
yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I skipped that. Here for Cassidy talking back
back.
about tastes like candy with Kelsey and chat. Yeah, sorry, I'm very behind on comments. I'm trying to catch up real quick. Been looking into that haunted house for years, didn't even realize until recently there was a documentary. There's literally 2 documentaries. There's a new one on Hulu that I haven't seen, and then there's one, I think it's called like Haunters or something, where it follows like multiple different haunted houses across America from a few years ago. But there's stuff on YouTube coming out about it, and it's wild. I mean, I don't really go into a slasher film for character development. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Oh, thank you. I hated the humor, but I love that me and Cass have totally different opinions. I know, that's so interesting. The shitting part I hated. What? Her calling it the shitty closet when they left.
That was like such good humor to me. Like just those little moments where she's leaving and she's like, that shitty closet. Like
Also,
yeah, because there's shit in it.
I love joining book club discussions with no context. Yes. Shitting in a closet. That's our context for you. There are the moments I'm here for. Or sorry, these are the moments. Okay, back to the map thing though. How did they go outside of the boat and then go back inside and get locked in? Yeah.
Yeah, there was also a horse at some point. So like I was like, there's so many inconsistencies in this story. Like
I think that was number 2 for me.
Yeah,
like, the horse got me. Like the horse could have made me give this a lower mark because I was like, what the Like, why is there a horse? And how are you trapped if there's all of a sudden a giant horse in your house?
Oh my god! I read tons of slashers, so maybe I'm just too critical. I do like trashy slasher vibes in some books, but it just didn't work for me in this. All right, let me look at my questions. So writing style, we have disagreements about. Book pacing, I thought it was slow too. I thought the beginning was really slow until the clown showed up. I was like, okay, let's get going.
I would agree.
I was more invested once the clown showed up. I was like you said, Cassie, you were like, am I going to DNF this? That's how I felt in the very beginning, but I was like, I can't DNF it because I have to host. But then at least when the clown was there, like I was okay entertained. Whereas in the beginning I was like, okay, I'm not invested, and I was just waiting for something to happen. How YA did this one feel to you all? Like, what's your relationship with YA in general? I know, Kat, you said YA is hard for you.
Yeah, and I think this felt very YA to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I think a lot of times YA, I'm just like, oh, this like doesn't work for me. This made me feel old. This made me feel geriatric. Like, like I just like couldn't get on with anything.
Yeah. I think part of it, so there's a romance in this, and that felt like a very YA thing to do, like how the romance was. It felt very thrown in there, and I was like, I don't think this is a spoiler, but it seemed like the main character was at points like more interested in her love interest than like literally people being killed around her,
Yes.
which I just thought was very interesting. I was like, oh, okay, that's a choice. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It does feel very YA. I feel like it felt pretty young. Also, it did have like a lot of gore in it though that I was surprised by. So that made it bumped it up a little bit for me, and like how I feel about YA, kind of where it falls on the scale. So I feel like it was definitely YA, not as young as some YA, but not as like mature as other YA. What about you, Cass? What do you think?
I thought it was pretty YA. It felt younger than Clown in a Cornfield for me, but older than There's Somebody Watching You. There's Somebody Inside Your House. Stephanie Perkins, the pink cover.
Yeah.
But all three of these books have a like romance that at times there's someone who cares more about the romance. And so like I think why YA horror can work for me is that sometimes I just think, well, like everything is unbelievable. And so like I get it, like as a YA teenager, you are like focused on your romance.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am probably the youngest one here.
How old are you?
I wonder if that matters. I'm 26.
I'm 26.
I'm 27.
Oh, okay. Then we're not that different. I was like, this did not make me feel old.
Maybe it's just me then.
I don't know. I feel like I always feel a little old in YA books. So like this one didn't specifically make me feel old, but I don't know. Let me see. Meta-ness. Did you guys like that it was meta, or did you think it was too meta, or what's your take on that? For me, it felt a little too much. Like I wanted still some like moments outside of the character just being like, oh, in every horror movie this happens, so like I'll do this. I mean, I like some of that, but it was like every single event she was thinking like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it really, I felt like either way about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it like I don't know how it could be less without completely changing the story.
Yeah.
That would be it for me. Like I don't know, especially because even the title is kind of meta. So
true. Yeah, that is true. How did the horse get snuck in? I don't know. The girl freaking out, it's coming. It did take too long to get going. It took me 2 weeks to convince myself to get past 10%. Yeah, the beginning was slow. Forgot about the horse. The romance was the worst. I didn't like the clown's voice in the audiobook. Too cheesy. Yeah, maybe that took away from any potential scariness, because how it was, narrated was very, very over the top and like extremely cheesy. So that could have contributed to me not being like scared ever. I enjoy YA thrillers sometimes. This one felt very teeny, especially the romance, though she calls him her alibi much of the time, which I felt odd. Noelle cared more about her alibi than actually surviving the killer clown.
This bothered me so much. Like multiple times she was like, I wish I could videotape this so everyone knows I didn't do it. I'm like, why are you thinking about that?
Yeah. I like the quotes. I actually liked how there was like horror movie quotes in the beginning of each chapter. Sometimes they were related and sometimes they were kind of unrelated to what was going on in the moment, but I found that fun. I recognized some of them and I was like, oh, cool. I've seen that movie. So that was something I enjoyed. I feel like this is the point where we need to get into spoilers in a minute. Yeah, the constant debate about going in the basement and how it's the wrong move in a horror got on my nerve. Okay, I'm going to go to spoilers so we can talk about more stuff. Let me read this one really quick, though. Horror movies, especially slashers, tend to be teen heavy. Yeah, that's true, even if the actors are 25 plus. So I feel like YA horror works more for me than other YA. Yeah, actually, that kind of makes a lot of sense. I generally like YA horror like 100 times more than YA thrillers. Like I enjoy it way more. So
I love YA horror, but like YA fantasy is not it most of the time.
yeah,
So.
why don't you like YA fantasy? Is there like a specific?
Not really. I think it's just a tone thing that I don't really love as much. And also the romance thing tends to get on my nerve in YA fantasy, but it doesn't in YA horror. But I think I go into YA horror wanting very different things than I want from YA fantasy. So like that's probably why.
Yeah, that's so interesting to think about because I don't read fantasy, so I didn't even because isn't there a lot of romance in like adult fantasy too, or is it just done better?
Not in the fantasy I read, unless I'm reading like fantasy romance, but like pretty much all YA fantasy is romance based.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I get it. That's what we're going through. Like I remember being a teenager and falling in love with everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what did you all think about the clown's motives? And I guess both the killers because there's two of them. Like, did that surprise you?
No.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty like heavy-handed throughout the story.
That there was like multiple people working together. It really reminded me of Scream. I was like, yeah. What did you all think about like the motive behind the two working together? How they're like entitled, spoiled, like rich people who like deserve to die, I guess.
I enjoyed it because I thought it added to the conversation and the reason why they were influencers and stuff like that. So, but I feel like I am on a hill on this and everyone else is below me. Like coming at me with stakes.
No, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Like I totally get your perspective. How you said like you can see why we didn't like it. I see why you did. Like I see how someone could just have fun with this, and I wish I did, but I just didn't. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I guess the motivation was fine, but it felt like hypocritical to me. Like the Josh, we're full spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in the spoiler section.
Okay, good. Like Josh, like is a rich person, and the clown doing it, what was his name, Wesley, like being paid to do this. Like I'm like, hello.
Yeah, because they were like, why isn't Josh like being killed? And he's like, well, of course, you all should know. He just paid me. It's like, what?
But he does say that he always planned on killing him because of this reason.
True. Yeah.
So it was just a way in for me to like kill everyone, and he needed help.
Yeah. I think it's also funny that Josh like didn't assume that he would get killed because like that seems very obvious to like at least to me, like most horror lovers that, oh, he's gonna get killed. Like you're not safe just because you're paying. Also like the sense of betrayal the main character felt, I kind of was like, like it's all of the kids just were so like insufferable. It's like, why are you so betrayed by this person? Like, are you that surprised? Like all of them are doing shitty things. So like, why are you putting it past this person? I don't know. No one was all that smart. Yeah, I found it strange. It tried to go like very like political, and that works for me in some books and it doesn't in other books. And like a book where it really worked for me was Clown in a Cornfield. I really loved that. But for some reason in this one, it was just like so over the top and kind of like ridiculous that it just like didn't work as much for me. Did you like Clown in a Cornfield, by the way? Have you?
Me?
I know Cass loves it, but have you read it?
I haven't read it. It's one that like every so often I'm like, should I not? But since both of you guys liked it, I kind of want to try it.
I know.
Gonna like a YA horror. I feel like that one is it, because like this
I've
one I
heard
get why
that.
people don't like. That one is like pretty good.
Yeah, and it feels older. Like even though the characters are in high school, it definitely feels older. And in the sequel, they're in college. So
Yes.
And it's so gory. Like
yeah, there's some scenes that I was
so
like,
gory.
oh,
I'll have to try it.
but oh, in like a good way. I was like, oh, I don't know
Mhm.
what that says about me. No one was all that smart. Yeah, I know. They were all so dumb. They didn't seem like all that close of a friend group, so didn't get the feeling anything from the betrayal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she was just closest maybe to that guy. Well, she also had like other friends who she was more close to, but the politics ruined it so much for me. Yeah, it just felt like very like hypocritical and like ridiculous, but not ridiculous in like a good way. Because sometimes I like just ridiculous stuff, but it was like, oh,
Mhm.
that there was just inconsistencies in it.
Yeah.
Which I guess people could argue like is the point.
Yeah, for me, like the hypocriticalness, that was the entire point of that. Like that is they're trying to say like you're wrong, like you're being hypocritical. We're all good people, even though we're still doing bad things. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I get why like that wouldn't work for you.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, yeah, the gore was good. The scene where the person was like eating keys, I was like,
Oh,
Yes.
that was the grossest scene to me. I was like, that one actually kind of bothered me. Like, not in like a, I need to stop the book way, but I was like, that is disgusting. And I've never really read anything like that. Like, something about making somebody eat something that's not edible is just so nasty to me. Like, I hate that so much. So gross. Were any other like kill scenes, did they stand out to you?
I think what was it, like a baseball or like a softball, tennis ball thing with the nails in it? I will say
Ooh.
that's one thing I liked. I thought some of the kills and stuff were pretty good.
Yeah.
the kills were cool. The height one where she had to like climb up to get that thing, and then like she knew she was climbing to her death. Like that got me because I was like, what are you gonna do? Are you not gonna go like
Yeah.
to save the other person? No, you're gonna go.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Saw feeling where it's like you're in a trap,
Mm.
you're gonna die. Like, are you gonna try to do it or are you just gonna sit there and like die and like wait for the timer? I feel like I always this exaggeration. I don't always think about this, but I think about it a lot when I think of Saw. I'm like, what would I do if I was like in a Saw trap? Like, would I even attempt anything or would I just sit there and let the timer run out? Like,
I wouldn't.
I would
it's-
be.
I think it depends on what it was because there's some saw traps that are like mild, quote unquote. And other, like for me, I know it's like probably very unpopular opinion, but the needle pit, I'm like, okay, like not, it would be very unpleasant, right?
Eat
But
that
it's
one.
not like cutting off my arm. Like, I don't know.
Fair.
You're like, that's gonna give me a heart attack.
Yeah.
Is that your like least favorite trap?
Oh, I haven't seen those movies in so long.
Yeah, I don't
I think
remember.
just like the classic with the bear
Mhm.
trap that like always just comes to my mind.
I just watched the most recent Saw, and I just always talk
I
about.
really want to see it, but I want to rewatch all of the other ones first.
You have to. They're so good. They're like some of them are really bad, but they're so good.
Yeah.
And we all like slashers, so it's kind of slashery, sort of. I thought the killer had something to do with the lawyers' lawsuits because they made a point to bring up how every one of them had a lawsuit against them. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
I think this was just to showcase how they all are doing bad things, so they need lawyers.
Oh, that makes sense. The horror elements, violence was the best part.
Agreed. That's why I liked it, but I'm not here for the characters. Like I like
Mhm.
talking about the betrayal. Like I don't care if the betrayal got me because I did not like. I didn't care about any character. I was here to watch them die.
Yeah, true. And like you guys said, like there were some really creative. Sorry, this is distracting. There was some really creative, fun kills. I love whenever the clown got hurt, but he kept popping back up. Yeah. Also, weren't they like spraying him with fart spray?
Yes.
Yeah.
That took me out of it too. Like, didn't they keep saying like blasting ass or something? I was like, this is too much for me. Like, I kept imagining the people actually farting on the clown. Like, literally, I was like, how are they able to coordinate this? Like, it just really took me out of the story.
It's in a spray bottle. They're not like not on the guy. Like, no wonder you didn't like it. I wouldn't have liked it either.
I mean, I knew like logically, but I don't know why my brain like went there.
Hold him down while I fart on him.
Okay, similarly to that, I wish the clown had a different name because when I picture Gage, I just picture like a white man in slacks and a polo.
Yeah, I mean,
It just wasn't
That's what
scary.
he was underneath. So like that's good.
I don't know. I feel like he should have been called like. I know he was supposed to be it, but like, can it be anything creepier? Like
Bobo the clown. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. Just like
Billy Bob the clown. Like, come on.
like Gage.
Yeah, I agree. I don't always think about this. We know you always think about it. I bring it up every single live I do, so I suppose. The Michael Myers vibes were on point. Yeah, how he like would not die. Yeah. I wish he didn't have a motive like the strangers. That's my favorite just because, oh my God, yeah, the last line in The Strangers. Have you all seen that movie?
Oh my god, yes.
Didn't we actually, Kat, we just talked about that, right? The Strangers, how the book that you're reading gives you.
Oh no, when a stranger calls.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that too, and I love that
Yes.
one.
Both good, both great movies.
Yeah. I love both of those movies. But yeah, how they have no motive in The Strangers, that is very creepy.
Because you were home.
Because we're home. That is so traumatizing. Have you seen that cast, The Strangers?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, the ending, it's so bleak. Didn't realize this book was so scary. Literally, people are farting and pooping. It's like a lot. And I was
Here's the
not
thing for I feel like I just could defend every single thing in this book. You know, remember being 15 and someone farts in like high school and you're just the whole room is giggling? Like that's why I think it was in there.
I
For like
still
the
giggle.
YA humor.
I still giggle when people fart. I had a really traumatizing fart experience. I wasn't farting, but somebody else was farting. And it was like, it was so bad. I was in college and it was silent and someone farted so loud. The teacher was like teaching and then she was like, and then she tried not to laugh. And I was crying. Like I was laughing so hard. I was crying.
That's horrible.
It was
I would have had to
traumatizing.
drop out if that was me.
It was traumatizing for me. I didn't even fart. I just couldn't stop laughing. It was so bad. I was like, oh my God. And the person was sitting right in front of me, of course. So I was like, thank you very much. Like it was so loud. It was the most absurd thing. I felt like I was in a movie.
Oh my god.
I could do without bathroom humor. Gage from State Farm.
That's exactly it. Those are exactly the vibes.
Honestly, Gage the frat clown. Oh my God. Can confirm the only Gage I know in real life is a white man who frequently wears slacks and a polo. That's really funny. The clown was something else. Yeah. Let me look and see what my other questions were. What were your favorite parts of the story?
The kills.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The kills for sure. And I also thought the beginning of when the clown actually was introduced, that was the creepiest part to me. Because I was assuming like, you know, you're at this party, this like stranger comes in and she's like, something's really off. Like the costume looks like very low budget and creepy. And he like wasn't talking at first. So that scene actually was kind of like unnerving to me. And then he started talking too much. And then it kind of like changed the vibe for me. So all of our favorite parts were the kills, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what slashers are for.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about before? My last question is always like any books and movies that you would recommend based on this. But before we get to that, is there anything else in the story that you all want to talk about or comments?
I did really like the discussion on like Black characters in horror films during this, and even like the alibi thing. I didn't mind it being pulled up all the time because I think it reminded me that something I would never have to think about. Like I would never be sitting there thinking they're gonna blame me. And I
Mhm.
think that
That's
is
a good point.
something that someone of color would have to think about. So like I liked that element of it, and it kept reminding me about those kind of things.
Yeah, and also how like people of color who are rich, it's still a different experience than white people who are
Yes.
rich, and
Yeah.
how the
I
main
also
character.
did
Oh,
like that the motivation was not because like anything to do with color.
yeah,
Yes.
I
I was
agree.
actually nervous about that.
Me too.
Yeah. I liked that aspect of it. I know a lot of people were getting annoyed at like her thinking of like an alibi the whole time. That didn't really annoy me because it kind of, I mean, it was understandable for reasons you were talking about. It was just the romance that was annoying me where I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
the
can we think
romance was
less
annoying.
about the romance? Yeah, and I do think like there was stuff there talking about class and commentary and stuff and how people will just like pay their way into like an internship or
Mhm.
like somebody is using like copyrighted music and they get away with it and like throw an indie artist like under the bus. Like I liked that. I think it was just too much. Like too much
Yeah.
was being said for me. Um hold on. Where did I leave off? Oh, his crossbow umbrella. Yeah. That was fun. I was so disappointed with the kills. There's got to be something wrong with me.
Cassie, I could fight you because in Tastes Like Candy, they're all drugged the entire time, so the kills happen so quickly, so I don't understand.
And isn't it just weed? Like it's not even like in a
Yeah, they're drugged by weed, but they act like they're high on like meth and they don't run away or do anything. And the clown and the killer person just comes up and kills them. There's no struggle, there's nothing fun.
That's interesting. I like started 10 pages of that book. I want to keep reading. It's interesting. It actually references like a grocery store chain that's like only in the area I used to live in. And I was like, oh, that's random. And then like the main character is like a violinist. And I'm like, oh, because I play violin. And it was just like weird, all these things. Have you read that one, Kat?
I have. And it's funny, like you and someone in the chat are like opposite. I also didn't like that one. And like the kills really bothered me also, like them being high because like something horrific and horrible would happen and they're just like giggling. Like, I'm like,
Oh my, really?
yeah.
Giggling? Absolutely not.
At one point, there's a killer like chasing them and they just stand there because they're so high. And I'm like, this is stupid.
I feel like that's not realistic. Anyway,
Like, I would get sobered up so quickly. Like I would snap out of it if I saw
Yeah.
someone get like decapitated or something. I'd be
the
done.
adrenaline that would
Yeah.
like cancel it out. I feel like immediately.
I think so
Yep.
too.
When the porcupine shot quills into the clown's face. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I agree about it coming up as a POC character. It just came up too often for me. I was trying to have that perspective of the alibi thing. I just think it was done at the worst times.
Mm.
I would agree with that.
Kelsey versus Cass, a slasher brawl. I totally disagree about Tastes Like Candy. Have to head out. Great discussion, even if it wasn't overall loved. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Bucky's. No, it doesn't mention Bucky's. Thank God it doesn't mention Bucky's. I would be beefing with the book. No, it mentions this place called HEB. It's like a
Oh yeah.
store in Texas. It's not even in all of Texas either. It's like specific section of Texas. That's why you don't want to read it. No, it's not Bucky's, Kelsey. I mean, I would freeze due to lack of survival instincts, but not weed. Different freezing reasons. Slaughterhouse Movie is kind of like this book. I don't know what that movie is. I'll have to look it up. Tastes Like Candy does. So movies and books recommendations. Do you have any that you can think of? I can
Mine
also
is easily found in a cornfield, like easily, because it's a slasher and it's political, but it is way better than this one. Like I stand by that. That is an incredible book. This one is just vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it for me.
I have Welcome to Smileyland by Spencer Hamilton, which also takes place at like an amusement park,
Ooh.
and Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess, which
I love that.
They both have clowny vibes.
What was the first one? Welcome to Smiley. What?
Welcome to
I'm gonna look that one up.
Smileyland.
I've never heard of it.
It's by Spencer Hamilton. Looks like that.
Oh, did you
I
like it
have-
a lot?
I really
Sorry.
like that one. I gave it 4 stars.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have read Cirque Berserk, but haven't read that one, so I'm gonna screenshot.
Yeah, I am very interested in that. I love Cirque Berserk. It's like one of my favorite horror
too.
books of all time.
I hated it.
You hated it?
I hated the writing. That was for me, like, it was just not good writing.
What
See,
was
that's
the-
one for me that I just had fun with. Like, so
Yeah,
maybe the writing isn't great, but I had a really good time.
completely
I-
get that. Like, I could not get past the writing in that one. I
Yeah.
just was like, what is going on?
What was the writing? I literally do not remember the writing.
It was
I'm
just bad. Like, to me, it was badly written. Like, it
Mm.
just, like, grammar errors, like, tone shifts. Like, it just
Mhm.
didn't work for me. But, like, I know so many people who love that one.
That's so interesting. Sometimes I literally don't notice that at all. Like maybe in the
Lexi told me.
moment I noticed it, but like it didn't stick with me enough to remember.
Mhm.
For me, I would also highly recommend the Mary Shelley Club. This book I love. It is so good. It's very much Scream inspired. It's about this club at this high school. It's called the Mary Shelley Club, and they do these things called fear tests where they put together these like elaborate pranks, and each member has to like help with the prank, and they try to like make them seem like horror movies. So really, really well done. And the whole time I was imagining the main character as Sydney Prescott, and I really, really love this book. So I would highly recommend it. And it's also YA, but I think it reads older. Like it's easier if you're not in the target audience to enjoy this one. And then movie wise, like obviously Scream, I would say. I noticed a lot of people saying bodies.
Yes.
Have you all seen that?
I haven't
I
watched
haven't.
it yet.
I want to, but I'm like, well, I like it now. I'm not sure. Any other movies that you all can think of?
I'm trying to think of one, and I feel like you would know it, Savannah. I feel like we've talked about it before, where a group of teens go to like a haunted house or something.
Oh, is it just called Haunt?
Yeah, I think so. Let me look it up.
Because there's Hellfest and there's Haunt.
Hellfest. That's the one I'm
Hellfest.
thinking of. But Haunt is good too.
Yeah, I love both those movies. Like for very different reasons. I feel like
Yes.
Hellfest is in tone like this, and Haunt is more like actually scary.
Yes.
They're so fun though. I love like anything having to do with like horror amusement parks or like haunted houses. Like, so good.
Same.
Mine could probably be Your Next, just because they're like stuck in a house, and I do think that there is something about them being like rich and stuff, but it's not like YA or like as fun as this.
Yeah, I started that one forever ago and never finished it, but I feel like I need to go back and watch it because
I love
now
that one.
after seeing like so many more horror movies, I was expecting it to be like scary, and I think it's supposed to not be scary, right?
No, it's not very scary.
Yeah. Also, The Cabin in the Woods like a tiny bit just because it's so like ridiculous and over the
I see it.
top. It's not like super similar vibes, but it's definitely like kind of
I
related.
also love The Cabin in the Woods, so maybe I just need things that are really over the top.
Yeah, the ending in that is like, what am I seeing?
I get why people dislike that movie because so many people like hate it, and I'm just like, this is incredible.
See, this is the equivalent. It's like The Cabin in the Woods and then this one, you know?
Yeah.
It works. I thought it was Bucky's. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe they talk about Bucky's like later in the book. I'm scared. What if they do now? I'll really have to watch out for that. Do you all remember if it talks about Bucky's in Tastes Like Candy?
I don't remember.
Mm. I immediately thought of Halloween Resurrection when I first read the description. I haven't watched the Halloween movies except the first.
Same.
I'm not like super into them. Like, I don't know. I like the first one a lot, but Slaughterhouse is about a killer sloth. It's on Hulu. It's very funny. The sloth is so cute. Did you all know that sloths smell absolutely horrific?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I would
No,
assume.
but I would have guessed that.
They smell so bad. I like met a sloth once. It was like at college and they brought in like a bunch of animals. And I was like, oh, cute, a sloth. I'm going to go get a picture. It smelled rank. Like it was so bad. I was like, this thing, like, I think they're really cute, but now it's kind of like spoiled for me because I know they smell so bad.
Fair.
I guess probably because they can't clean themselves because they're so slow. Like, how would they? Like, it's so slow. Katrina, that sounds amazing. I also hated Zark Berserk. Don't say that. We agree, Cass. That's so funny that you guys agree on that and then like have opposite opinions.
I mean, I gave Taste Like Candy 3 stars. I still liked it.
Yeah. I don't think there's an audiobook for it, and that makes me very sad because
Fair.
that's how I read.
I'm pretty sure I gave Zerg Berserk 1 star. So,
oh my god.
but I give it like 21 stars a year. I like my 1 stars.
I mean, it's probably fun. I just usually DNF before I give something a 1 star, but I don't know.
I like to suffer.
You're like, let's do this to myself. I hope you like the Mary Shelley Club. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. Kelsey, I didn't like Cirque Berserk either. Haunt, yeah, that movie's good. It's very creepy. Halloween Resurrection has Tyra Banks and Buster Rhymes hosting a reality show where they have to survive the night in Michael Myers' house. That sounds wild.
I'm into it.
Oh my god.
Yes, Hellfest. I think, are we all very scared of clowns here?
I think so. I feel like that's so universal. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are not, but I feel like that's a very common fear.
I was just talking about this. Like, you know how they're like clowns come to kids' birthday parties?
Yeah.
I've never. That's a myth. I don't think a clown comes to any birthday parties. They're just meant to be scary.
Yeah, no, I agree. Would never like clowns, no. This is random, but like, do you all have clown movie recommendations? Just to talk about recommendations. I was wondering.
I feel like it is the obvious one.
Yeah,
That's like
I love it.
That's what started my clown fear. My dad showed me that movie when I was like 6 years old, and it like implanted in me.
Oh no, that's so traumatizing.
I don't think I have one.
I love it. I love Haunt has a really creepy clown in it. I know that what's it called? It's kind of like extreme horror. What is it called? It's like the came from All Hallows Eve. That clown. What is his name? I can't remember. Hold on. I'm curious if anybody in the comments has seen it. I don't know why it's not coming to my brain. Terrifier. Have you all seen that?
Oh, yes.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Should I watch it? Or is it like too much?
I don't think it's too much.
You don't think it's too much? I think it's very low budget too, but that kind of makes it fun. It has like a retro vibe.
Yes.
Oh, also, there's one, if you guys like found footage horror movies, it's called Hell House LLC.
Yes.
That one's really fun, and there's a creepy clown in it. It's about this group of friends who are putting together a haunted house, and so they're like setting it up, and then there's like creepy footage. Oh yes, thank you. Everyone's saying Art the Clown. Terrifier of the movies, yes. Bozo the Clown had a super deep, raspy voice. That's why Tim Curry's voice is like that in it. Oh. Cotton Candy Massacre has a great clown, and also Clown Fest, maybe? Have the most disgusting, gross clowns ever. Nice. Shudder's coming out with a prequel to Hell House. Ooh.
Yes, I heard that.
You would have to pay me a lot of money to watch Terrifier. Hell House LLC is so fun. Yeah. Do you all have like favorite horror movies? I know we're just like going into another topic fully, but
I haven't watched any this year. I know that's a different question, but I haven't watched any scary movies yet this year. I don't know why.
The whole year?
Yeah, or like this season, I guess. Like in October.
Okay, I was imagining since January, and I was like, how are you surviving? I like live off of horror movies. I need them.
I know, I don't
really watch movies that often. Not gonna lie.
That's fair.
Scream is my favorite for sure.
Same.
I'm trying to think of like a modern one. I feel like they're all trash.
I loved. I have so many. I could talk about it forever. I feel like I need to just do a live show of like talking about horror movies because I
Yes.
literally could just talk forever.
Yeah, I'm more of
Um,
a TV show person, so I don't really watch movies.
yeah. Is there a good horror TV show that you've enjoyed?
Put me on the spot like this.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I was just gonna say, anytime someone asks me like something I like, my mind just goes blank. I'm like,
Literally, I can't remember a single thing. Actually, Kate, I like the Scream TV show. It doesn't feel
You
like
like
it's such a cop-out answer, but
I should try it. I really should then because I've seen it and I'm like, oh, would I like that? I also saw there's like a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's like over the top like Scream is.
Well, I'll probably.
It's
look
more than Scream, but like less than this. This book.
Mhm. This kind of reminded me of that show with Emma Roberts in it, Scream Queens.
Queen?
oh yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gave me those like over the top vibes. They are in college and they're in like a sorority, but it kind of feels similar to this book too. I just thought of that. Terrifier Part 2 might be too much if you don't like gore. It's also very long. My relationship with gore is very confusing. I love the Saw movies. There are other things that bother me too much. I don't understand. I don't know how to make it make sense. Tubi has a lot of clown horror. Nice. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I would be so in on a full-on horror movie live show. Yes. Blood Harvest is one with Tiny Tim as a clown, and he just cries the whole time. Oh my god. Hill House and Bly Manor. Yes, those are good. My favorite horror movie is Tremors, which is not scary horror, but I have no regrets. It is my comfort movie. Monica, I just saw you post like a long thing on your story about it, and I screenshotted it because I was like, I have to remember this so I can go back and read. Killer Clowns, or sorry, I just made that up. Clown is one of my favorites, and Killer Clowns. Nice. The Village, M. Night Shyamalan is my favorite too. Need to rewatch that. Well, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I know they just came out with their updated list of like the scariest movies of all time, where they like put a heart monitor on people while they watch it, and I kind of want to watch the like top 5 or something. But like your relationship with gore, I have like a relationship with scary stuff sometimes, so I'm kind of worried.
Yeah. Wait, where did you see the?
I'll have to find where it's from. I know I just said they, like very vague.
You're like, they said this online. I'm like,
the people
of the internet. I'm pretty sure it's Insidious, right? Unless it changed.
I think it may
sorry,
have
not Insidious. I'm wrong. Sinister. Sorry, that's what I meant.
This was a good one.
Let me see.
Sinister, that was the one where the heart was elevated the most for the longest time.
Yes.
A while ago, unless it's changed. I fucking love Tremors. Katrina. I watched the first 3 Tremor movies when I had the flu last winter. I bet that was a very interesting experience, having a fever. I just watched Tremors 2 an hour ago.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I need to look up that article because that's really fascinating for me.
Yeah, I'll have to try and find it and I'll send it to you if I do.
Yeah, you should. I love Tremors. I'm going to rewatch it for a vlog because of your comment on my story. I thought Smile was on there. Shrug. I loved Smile.
I liked it too.
I thought the opening was like so good. How it just goes in. I don't know. I loved it so much. A lot of people didn't like it that much, but I thought it was really good. I also saw that they put that list. Yeah, the internet. All right. Well, thank you all so much for reading this with me. I'm sorry you didn't love it, Kat. I'm really glad you loved it, Cass.
I'm living my best life over here.
I've
never seen you recommend this book anywhere, but like I'm living my best life.
I'm so glad you liked it. I think nobody in the comments gave it above like a 3.5. I think I saw like 1 3.5. You know, I will say. Oh, go ahead.
It the best in the comments. I think Monica liked it the best in the
Did
comments.
Did Monica give it a 4?
A 3.5.
3.5. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for being here, though. It was fun. It was fun discussing it. I hope it was an enjoyable time, even though not everyone loved it. I'm so glad I read it because I would have wanted to read this for a while. So I'm glad I know like what it's about and stuff. And also, I wish I could have read stuff like this when I was in high school because I would have liked it. I just didn't read. I don't know. When I was in high school, I didn't read horror. I read like Divergent, which I loved,
Yeah.
but also, and I read The Hunger Games, like stuff like that. So I didn't really start reading scary books until like the last couple years. So this kind of stuff wasn't on my radar. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to both of my co-hosts. Their information again is in the description. And I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.